Hey guys, welcome back to Hands On channel. I wanted to share this or do a review on this with you about this saw that I have here, and a little backstory. I've never had, this is the first nice saw, I guess we'll call it. I bought this other one over here, brand new, years ago, and it was fairly cheap. I think it was under $100. I bought that Poulan Wild thing, and it was a great saw. But I started having problems with fuel lines and different things like that with it. Tried changing them out and was having some issues with it. Well, lo and behold, I just happened to be flipping through Craigslist one day, and there was this like new, only used to cut down one tree. Apparently some wealthier gentleman than me bought this thing, and his wife was kind of, I don't know, she was kind of ripping the guy a little bit. She was like, yeah, he does that. He buys stuff, just does one thing with it, and then it just sits there. So I bought this like new Husqvarna saw. I know it's actually pronounced Husqvarna or something like that, you know, but guess what? I'm an American, and I choose to say Husqvarna because that's what we say over here. And we're known for that, of course, mispronouncing words intentionally. So anyways, you know, when I'm eating my freedom fries, I definitely don't say Husqvarna. That wouldn't fit. So anyways, back to the saw. I'm just kidding. So far, it's been great. I really like this thing. This button operates a little different than any of the Poulons I've had. Basically, and it took me a moment to figure it out at first, but you pull out on this little square thing, and you flip all the way up, and that's, you know, to get it, that's choked. And then when you're ready to just get in the run mode, you just flip it here, and that's run. And to stop it, you just push down on it. So that works a little differently than the Poulan saws I've had in the past, but pretty great saw. Same thing, you prime it 6 times. It does have a compression release up here. The model number on this is a 450 Rancher. It says Farm Tough on the bar. The one thing that I've read and I've actually had a little negative experience with is the bar on this thing. I don't think they use the highest quality bar that you could get. So in the future, I'm probably going to put a nice Oregon bar on here when I wear this one out. I'm trying to get the most out of it. But what basically happened was I was cutting through some oak, and I'll insert some different clips of video of me cutting this oak. And, you know, here on our property, we've got a lot of this tough old oak, and it can tear up a chain. Pretty much one tree usually goes through a chain. So this chain's still in pretty good shape. And I've been using it for the past few days, limbing up this one tree in our backyard that's basically getting really top heavy. So anyhow, I've had to cut all that up for firewood to use out at the off-grid homestead. And so I've had a really, you know, good chance to get acquainted with this saw. And there's a couple of things that are superior over this to the Poulan I had was that there's a shock absorber in between the handle and the motor, so your hand doesn't get tingly near as quick. It's a lot more comfortable. It's a smoother running engine. You can just tell the thing's buttery smooth. Oiler works great. Have no complaints about that. But back to my one real gripe about the thing. I was cutting some oak, and it got hung up. The chain probably got a little loose. It's a little loose right now, but it probably got a little looser, and I didn't notice it. And I went in for a side cut, and it jumped over, jumped out of the bar, and it just went clunk. And I was like, oh, what was that? And it stopped. You know, I shut the saw off. And so I saw the chain was hanging. Obviously, I was like, okay, I could tell the chain had come loose. And I went over here to the shop to put it all back on. I couldn't get it back on. I was like, what's going on here? Well, apparently one of the teeth, one of these inner teeth here, the guides, I guess, that slide in this groove had got a little bit bent from when it came out of there. And it took me forever to get that thing. Basically what I ended up having to do, I tried to twist it with some pliers and then in the vise over here, and I couldn't get it to happen. So what I ended up having to do was take a file and just clean off the inside edge of not the bar, but the actual chain itself, because, you know, this is a replaceable item, obviously. So even if I screw the chain up, it's still, I can just buy a chain rather than having to buy a chain and a bar. But it took me a while to get that thing back in there, and I had to file a couple of the teeth down because they bent as it went out of there. And I'm sure that happens all the time, but all my years of running that Poulan saw, the Wild thing, I never had that happen. So maybe it's just luck, maybe it's just coincidence, but That did happen to me, and I've heard other people complaining about the bar is not the highest quality. So I'll probably put that on the agenda for future, future service stuff, like perhaps when this chain starts getting too dull or getting beyond sharpening capability, then I will go ahead and order a new or buy a new 20-inch Oregon bar for the thing with the ball bearing down here in the end. And also a lot of those Oregon bars have the oiler point down there where you can drop a little oil in there and keep the thing going, or grease them, or whatever you're supposed to do on that. But the brake is great. No complaints about that. To access the top of the motor, you don't have to dig for a Torx bit. I like that. You can just pop these things off here. Yeah, I'm going to pop them off. There we go. It's not that big a deal. I just don't want to do it too many times because I don't want to get them brittle and break them. And one more on this side. Okay, and then that just comes right off of there. You've got easy access to your air cleaner, your spark plug, pretty much the whole top end of the motor. So, pretty impressed with that. Well built. There's even a spring here between the handle, so that what you're contacting is isolated from the vibration of the motor. That's why it feels so smooth. But yeah, I like the little plastic tabs as long as they work. Just like anything plastic, over time these will get brittle from being hot and cold or sitting out in the sun or whatever. So, be aware of that and try to keep your tools put up and be gentle with them. Let's see if I can put it on here without breaking the damn thing. There we go. They're pretty stiff. All right, guys, that's it. One other little weird thing that I've noticed about this saw, and you just have to remember to do it. If you're going to take the side cover off, it only has one nut here. So if you're going to take that off, make sure your brake is not set. Because if your brake is set, the way these Husqvarnas work, the brake mechanism is like in here, back behind here. So with the brake set, this thing's locked on there. When you undo it like that, now you can remove the side cover and clean it out and do your maintenance and stuff like that on it. The bar adjustment's quick and easy. You just loosen this up, and there's a screw in here you adjust to get the amount of tension that you need on there. So, all right, guys. So yeah, I just wanted to give you my thoughts on this. I love it. It's a great saw so far. It would outcut my my Wild Thing, probably almost double the speed. I mean, it's just that good. And I think part of it's because it has the bigger bar, and the other part of it is that you can just work longer because you're isolated from the vibration. So it's not a featherweight. I can't really weigh the thing here. I don't know. It's probably in the neighborhood of maybe 12 pounds or something. I don't know. Let me see if I can pull this scale out and weigh this right quick. Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'll just look up the specs and I'll insert them in here in the video. So anyways, guys, just some of my thoughts and overview on this Husqvarna Rancher. Farm Tough, it says on the bar there. I don't know. We'll see about that. But so far, I really like it. It's increased my my cutting speed significantly, and I don't seem to have to stop and adjust the chain nearly as often, although it still does happen. So I think all saws are that way. Whether this is better than a steel or any other saw, I can't tell you, because this is the first nice, what I'm considering a high end, even though it's still probably a, a prosumer, as they would call it, grade. It's still so far been a great saw for me. I think if you take care of it, probably last you your lifetime. So guys, I appreciate you stopping by. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to see more, and we'll see you next time.